if there's any, and as a CNA, there's sometimes lifting or transferring people from a wheelchair to a bed, that kind of work.
Yeah, I know.
And that's kind of tricky with his disability in terms of, are we putting him in a situation that puts his disability at risk?
I know. I know. For some reason, I clicked on that, and I'm thinking that somewhere between a back brace and the part where I'm supposed to be taking back medication and stuff. But at this point in time,
so you're willing to look at that profession?
Well,
what we have to do is
no. The thing is the reason why I clicked on that is because I'm trying to open myself up to getting a job so I can get out of here.
I agree.
And
I think it's a good plan.
I mean, you know, I can unclick it once I get there. It's just I want out of this area. I do not want to live in Eastern Oregon. You know, as I told you before.
So we'll contact HUD to see if there's location programs that he might be eligible for prior to finding employment.
Right.
For us to be involved in anything, Fran, he has to have a job. He has to be in employed status. He has to be in a plan for employment and have a viable job offer.
Right.
He has to at least have a viable, yes.
Right. Yeah.
Yes, our services are employment-related services, and I get that it makes sense for Nick to be in Portland, but sure with him moving there on his own and then going into a VR office when he gets there and talking to somebody about helping him find employment down there, that's the only way to do that.
So the plan right now is, Nick, I will call HUD.
And I'd have Nick come back in a week, so we can find out what we found out from talking to HUD.
Right. I mean, right now, I would say I would dig up that video, the 2-hour video, but.
Oh, we don't.
I
believe you.
Yeah,
I totally believe you, Nick.
It's long.
And you know the challenge is, I don't want to relocate you to an hour where you, or to a new location where you have no support. I want you to find some supports down there too, and how we do that.
Oh, I would definitely find support in Portland, in the Portland area. I mean, I've spent time in Portland area, and I found random support. It's just being able to stay in Portland. You know, unfortunately, when you have to spend close to 90% of your money in an area in Eastern Oregon, and you don't even like being in Eastern Oregon because of the way Eastern Oregon is, then you can't stay in Portland where the support is. Then you have to turn around and come back to Eastern Oregon. That's how come the support that I found in Portland, unfortunately, I can't just go begging that support. Oh, you know, because
I've 2 dogs too. Right?
And they're service dogs, but what I've noted on the whole HCW forms is you can't bring them with you to work. You can leave them in the car with you with the windows down and a dish of food and, you know, water.
In the back or something.
Yeah.
I don't think I have anything in them. That's the problem. My calendar is so full.
And I can't do it. I've got to go to Hermiston to go. I got to go to my doctor. My doctor is out of town.
Oh, okay.
You know, my doctor's out of town, and.
So what do you have in 2 weeks?
Oh, do you have a copy of this? This isn't my OHSU doctor thing. Summary of my visit about the whole. My appearance of a portly figure is not true. That's proof of that. That
Your appearance of what?
I'm not fat. No. I love that face. I'm not fat.
Never thought you were.
No. Foster kid. They gave me a bunch of medication. I didn't need it, but you know when you're a little kid and you say you don't want to take it, they don't care. You're a little kid. But you know that's just the surgeon's little. You have a bunch of loose skin.
Nick, would you be able to come in on April 11th? That's a Monday at 4 o'clock.
That is the day before my birthday.
You don't want to do that?
I don't want to be nowhere near a state or federal.
You don't want to have a cupcake with us?
The next available time I would have would be on April 21st, and that's a Thursday.
Need I remind you that is a day after the day, but days like those days that people are usually sluggish and their potential is usually sluggish with them after those days on the 21st.
After your birthday?
Yes, like the 21st.
What are you saying you're doing for your birthday?
Being very sluggish.
That's the day after, the day of.
Don't worry. I just found out what my dogs' birthdays were.
Would you be able to come in on that day, April 21st at 4 o'clock?
Look at you, made me up time. Okay.
I'm so limited in what I have to offer you, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's just as long as we can work out some kind of thing with
Well, I'm
this
gonna
whole
try.
moving thing.
What's your phone number, Matt?
40541
Okay,
407
okay.
8358.
8358. Thanks for going slow. All right, so
I had to go slow so I didn't lose me.
Result of DLC call to HUD.
But you know what? Seriously, HUD has the power to move me
Okay.
without the whole job thing. But if they can get me into area so that way I can meet with people to become their home care worker,
Okay.
that
So
would work.
just so you and I are clear, what we heard Susan says is that you have to have a viable job offer
In order for this office.
in order for this
This office
office
to
to help
help.
you, but that doesn't have anything to do with
with
HUD.
HUD.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
But
So
if HUD were to help, that would enhance the whole effort.
Absolutely,
And that would be good.
okay. So, do you have something to write down that date on, or do you need me to go get a card? I don't have any cards in here. Do you have a phone that you put your appointments on?
I do.
Is that okay with you if you do it that way? Or do you want me to go get a card?
Actually, let's see, April 21st.
Yep. At 4 p.m.
Nick,
HUD's gonna
for your next appointment,
HUD's
I'm
gonna
gonna
have
give you a couple
fun.
extra folders too.
HUD's gonna have fun having that talk.
Can you research some, potential jobs in Portland that you'd be interested in? Either for all that Word data entry that you did, or this home care worker?
I'm already
Yes.
researching the home care worker because I have the provider number.
So if you
I
can track
have-
down 3 applications, we can look at them over with you and see what we need.
Well, the home care worker thing, they contact you. That's how it's done.
Oh, okay.
They list,
APD calls you?
yeah, they list you. So what I have to do for my home care worker thing is I have to finish updating it. Basically get a lockdown
A resume?
on what my home base is. That's how come I'm saying that I have to be down there.
So
So
you
that
have to
way,
put a resume together that says we'll relocate, or,
no, I have to know, I'm not explaining this right, but basically it's like this.
you wanna get there.
No. Okay, let's say,
I'm sorry,
no.
tell
'cause-
Fran, I gotta go, I'm late to an appointment,
All
Fran,
right,
so,
let's say I'm right there,
okay.
right? And there's patient here, patient there,
Yeah.
and patient there. But I am actually from here.
Yeah.
And I don't know anything about all this area because there's construction and it's Portland and I've never been there and I'm from California and I'm not from there,
Yeah,
right?
right.
But you know how home care workers are,
Mhm.
right? You know how patients are. You have to be able to live there, you have to be there, right? Because when you meet with these people, not only do you get the job, but you oftentimes have to be able to start within a week, right?
So can you tell me what it is you have to
Hold
update?
on.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is it's not because Nick wants out of Eastern Oregon. It's because this is how home care workers are typically set up, and because this is not made up. You can look it up. You can look it up because I had to look it up.
That's okay.
All right. So these are the 3 patients. So if I were to go from where I'm at right now, this is the triangle, to this X, which is my home base. This is the town that I'm looking for these. This is the town that I've applied. When you're on the home care page,
Mhm.
and I said that I can work in Multnomah County or Washington County or wherever.
Right.
So I've listed myself as a home care worker with my provider number, and let's say some DHS worker calls up and says, I've got a patient over somewhere. I need you to meet with this patient, as a potential person to work with this person. If they, you two like each other and get along, then you start within the week.
Okay.
Right. But, you know, you have to know how to get to that person or blah, 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 blah. You have to be at work on time. But if you don't know how to get there or where they live and blah, blah, you know, then you cannot be there. Then you cannot make it, then you cannot get that job. That's the short story. If you want me to explain it longer, then you're not going to understand it, and then we're going to be stuck where, what's her name was? Sharon, Sheila, Susan.
Susan.
See
Okay.
that? Okay, so Susan's not getting that part.
Okay.
So, we're, you know, I'm trying to get to Portland, but I don't know the streets of Portland or Tigard or Tigard or however you say the name,
Okay.
Hillsborough. I don't know any of the streets, and this is a job that the provider number, because I've already taken the orientation, I have the provider number, I got my background check, like you do for any other job. All right. Now, to go through all that, to go through all the classes and all that stuff, to have to wake up early in the morning to do all that stuff, that is the job. All right. Now, I understand the whole VR needs an actual show of employment. Okay. So, if an actual person calls me up from the western part of Oregon for this job, but I can't be there in a week because I live in over here, then I can't have the job.
I gotcha. I understand.
So, you have to explain that to her. Susan. Sharon, what's her name?
Susan Hughes.
Susan Hughes. That's the part you have to get to Susan Hughes. Aside from the part where wherever my home base is set up, my home, apartment, house, or whatever, I have to know the streets or alleys or wherever it is to get to wherever that patient lives, aside from being able to make their first appointment to meet that person, so that way, you know, I can start going and being that person's home care worker, which oftentimes starts the very next week.
I understand, and I hear what you're saying.
So, if we have to call HUD and tell HUD that Nick has shown us copies of court documents and all this stuff that shows that you guys should have helped him a long time ago, and we have proof of that, and here at HUD, or here at DHS, we can call that violations of whatever, blah, 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 or whatever you want to call it, or whatever the courts could call it, because the courts have, you know, have said that that's pretty much wrong. So, however you want to play that, however you want to say that, but that right there is the explanation that Susan is probably needing.
She's my boss, Nick, so she tells me what to do. I don't tell
Right.
her what to do.
I
But
know
what
she.
can do-
I know. You're not telling her what to do, but you're just telling her that that's basically, in a nutshell, what's going on there. So, not unless, you know, HUD here tries to fight you, then you just have to write a report, tell her about it, and then when I come back, we'll sit here, we'll talk about it, and then Susan will probably deliver some more thoughts on it, and then we'll have to go back to HUD and tell them you're bullshitting us.
So what I can do is I'll call HUD and I will ask them about relocating you to the western side of the state in probably Clackamas, Washington, or Multnomah County. Is that, or is there a certain, like,
Right now, yeah, because so far, because I just did a test run.
right?
Because with, like I said, with all the information that I have today on the home care worker thing, what I'm telling you is based on what I've looked at so far.
Okay.
So, you know, the whole Hillsborough, you know, Tigard locations and everything,
Right.
you know, and I don't really know anything about these locations. The only thing I know about the streets of these locations is based on a map that I have hanging on my wall at home.
Okay.
I don't have any current GPSs that could track down any location or any address that I was given. So if I was ever handed an address in any of these locations, I wouldn't know where I'm going and I would be late.
Okay.
And I wouldn't get and I wouldn't be able to do anything unless I'm already there. It would be impossible. And to be forced to do anything that's impossible is illegal at this time. And I would find that unjust and unfair to be, you know, I mean, even if I did pop up a GPS, and yes, I do own an iPhone, but to turn that iPhone on right now is beyond the current funding that I have.
Right.
Right, I mean, I'm spending the $45 that would normally fund this phone to pay HUD off on this door thing that, yeah, because of their whole, I mean, you know, like I said, I've got copies of the police reports and, you know, I could dig up do you have enough time for me to look for this stocking order, or are we late?
Well, we're getting late, but I would, while you're doing that, can I read the note that I wrote and see if it's, if I got it accurately written? And then I'll print it out.
Do you guys actually have all copies of these original police reports for
I
Beverly?
think Susan took them, yeah.
Yeah, okay, good.
Do you want me to read this to you
Yeah.
before I print it out, or just print it out?
If you can, I can read it if you know.
You want me just to print it out then?
Yeah, if you want,
I'll just
but yeah,
print it out.
I even got a picture of, I think I got a copy of the whole, I got a copy of Beverly's eviction notice, which after everything that was finally put through, it took them forever and ever and ever.
To get her evicted.
I mean, it took them so long, and after all the court casing and just, you know, that they finally delivered that eviction notice to her. It's just like, you know what? You guys dragged me through all this stuff. I want a copy of the eviction notice too.
Mhm.
It's unfair. You know, I can't afford this stuff either. Wow, how many copies of this thing do I have?
Well, you're very well organized.
Oh no.
Things.
I'm only organized to a point. These are just the ones that I've kept together.
I'm gonna give you a copy of the notes that I wrote today, just so we're all on the same page.
How is it? Oh, look at that. This is the entire, that's the entire file. That's crazy. That is creepy. Oh, that is creepy. That's the entire 2010 file. There's nothing scarier than looking at that.